Hello everyone, welcome to Sentence Diagramming 101. This video is about exercise 6C, so we are going to find some noun clauses. Now remember, noun clauses can do anything nouns can do, so they can go all over the place. They just happen to be clauses, so they're entire sentences that are going to go up on stands all over the place. So I'm going to move this up so we've got room to get started, and we're going to jump on number one. Okay. So these are all about John Hughes films, in case you were wondering. But whoever acted in The Breakfast Club was known during the 80s. All right. So this whole thing, whoever acted in The Breakfast Club, that is my noun clause. And that whole thing is the subject. And then what else do I have? I have was known, so that's my intransitive. And then during the 80s is a prepositional phrase telling me when, so it's acting as an adverb. Then within my noun clause, I have whoever, and then what did they do? They acted, and then they acted in The Breakfast Club. So again, telling me where. So that is an adverb, prepositional phrase in the middle of my noun clause, which is my subject. So I'm going to draw my line low because I know that I'm going to have to draw up, right, for this. So I have whoever, and then whoever acted. Ooh. Go. And then where did they act? They acted in The Breakfast Club. And then I'm going to put that whole thing on a stand. And that's going to be my subject. And then was known. And then they were known during the 1980s. So that's what you do when you have a noun clause. That's your subject. All right, in 16 Candles, Samantha doesn't know why her family forgot her birthday. So in 16 Candles, prepositional phrase telling me where, so it's an adverb. I don't know why sometimes it writes fine and other times it fights so hard. All right, Samantha, remember, does know is my verb. And the not is going to be the adverb telling me when. And then this whole thing is what she knows or doesn't know. So it's my direct object. And then within it, I've got subject, transitive, they forgot her birthday, and then why is the adverb. Okay, so let's do one of these. So we know it's Samantha, and we know that she does know, not, right? No, unt. And then the thing, oh, she doesn't know in 16 Candles. Let's just do that here. And then what doesn't she know? She doesn't know why her family forgot her birthday. So family, her family, forgot. And then what did they forget? The birthday. And then whose birthday? Her birthday. And then why? Why? And then we put that whole thing on a stand in the direct object spot because that is the thing that she doesn't know. Right? All right, now we're moving on to Ferris Bueller, right? How Ferris doesn't get caught is crazy to his sister. So how Ferris doesn't get caught is a noun clause acting as my subject. It is what crazy, subject complement, and then crazy in what way to his sister, so adverb. And then Ferris doesn't get caught, so Ferris. What do we get? Well, does get caught, right? Except he doesn't. So we have an intransitive, and then the not is going to be my adverb, and then how is my adverb as well. Okay, so we know we're going to have this sentence. Ferris, right, does get caught. And we know how it's going to go on here. And then unt, he doesn't get caught. And that whole thing is my subject. And then that whole thing is crazy. And then crazy how to the sister. Cool. Moving on to number 4. Gray didn't realize, what Bill and Curly Sue were doing. Okay. So we've got Gray, and she did realize a thing, right, with the adverb. And then this whole thing is my direct object, right? The thing that she did not realize. And then it's that Bill and Curly Sue were doing what? So subject, transitive verb, and then what they were doing. They were doing what? So we have two Steve Does, just one within the other. A little inception action happening here. So we've got Gray, and Gray what didn't... Oops, did. She totally did realize. Not. And then she didn't realize what, so I'll put this whole thing up here. But I'm gonna need, wait, eraser. Got excited there, because we've got a compound that Bill, come on, and Curly Sue. We need an and in there, so we got Bill, Curly. It's Curly Sue, in case you're wondering, but no room. Okay. We're doing, and then what were they doing? They were doing what? And that's the thing that she didn't realize, or she did realize. All right, so we're doing what? Okay. Moving on to number 6. Ooh, we get weird science. So Gary and Wyatt, what do? They consider this whole thing. No, they consider what they created. They created what? That's the direct object. And then they consider what they created, Lisa, to be beautiful. So that's my object complement. So let's see. Oh, see, I already need an eraser. I literally just said, right, Gary and Wyatt. And, all right, so we got Gary and Wyatt. And then what do? They consider, so direct object, and then what do they consider? They created what? Keep this in mind, because we're going to do questions in a few weeks, and that's how you deal with questions, is you just flip them around. So what they created would be, they created what? So you just answer it, and then, ooh, I just drew that the wrong way. Just kidding. Oh, dear. Can't tell with the way my marker is behaving. All right, so they considered object complement. It's gonna go right there. Cool. All right, moving on to number 6. In Dutch, Dutch's issue is that Doyle idolizes his father. All right, so this tells me where it happens. Adverb. So we have issue is this whole thing. So this whole thing is my subject complement. So let's see what we have. We have issue. Whose issue? Dutch's issue. Is, and then is where in Dutch. Is what? Is this whole thing, right? Doyle idolizes. Idolizes who? The father. Whose father? His father. But then we have this weird that, right? Expletive that. And then that whole thing goes on a stand in the subject complement spot. All right, moving on to number 7, we have Kevin, poor Kevin, who wonders whether or not his family misses him. So we've got Kevin, what is he doing? He's wondering a thing. What thing? This whole thing, right? So let's see. We've got Kevin, and then he wonders, and then he wonders what? Noun clause. He wonders if his family misses what? Misses him, direct object, right? And it's his family. Now, whether or not is the subordinating conjunction here, but it is working as an expletive, right? Works the same way as if, or even that. So what you're going to do is put it up top here, whether or not. So when you have a noun clause introduced by a subordinating conjunction, you put it up above. So he wonders, if or whether or not his family misses him. Moving on to number 8, the fact that Neil is stuck traveling with Dell irritates Neil. So where are we? Oh, planes, trains, automobiles, right? Yeah. So which fact? This fact. The fact that Neil is stuck traveling with Dell. That whole thing isn't a positive, renaming the fact. And then that irritates Neil. So we're going to have an entire noun clause acting as an appositive. So what do we have? We have a fact. It's the fact. And then what is the fact? The fact is that Neil is stuck. And then how is he stuck? He's stuck traveling. So we got a gerund there. And then he's stuck traveling with Dell. And maybe Dell's not a great travel partner. In a lot of ways. All right, stand, parentheses, because it's in a positive. What am I missing? Oh, the that. Put my that in there. And then all of that irritates Neil. Okay. I'm going to bunch these two up so we can see them more clearly and give ourselves more space. Also, sneak peek review down there. Getting ready for 6R. All right, so we have Dennis the Menace. And what does he do? He gives whoever is around a hard time. So he gives a hard time. That's the thing he gives. And then whoever is around is my indirect object. So I'm just going to DTM that. All right, Dennis the Menace gives... And he gives a time, right? What kind of time? A time and a hard time. I should have given myself more room because I need an indirect object spot that can go on a line. So I'm going to say whoever is, and then is around is where. And then adverbing, right? And that whole thing is my indirect object. All right, I squeaked it in. What about Clark brings his family on what is a great cross-country trip? Depending on whether you've seen Vacation, you may disagree. Okay. But we know Clark brings what? Brings family, and then this whole thing is a prepositional phrase. But inside, as the object, there's our noun clause. What is trip? So we start at the beginning. We've got Clark. What is he doing? He's bringing a thing. What's he bringing? His father, direct object, his father. And then where is he bringing them? So adverb, and then he brings them, I'm going to make this bigger. He brings them on a trip, right? What is trip? I feel like I'm on Jeopardy. What is trip? The movie Vacation. All right, it is a trip. It is a great trip, and it's a cross-country trip. And then that whole thing is the object of the preposition on. So there you have it, exercise 6C. And while we're here real fast, just want to draw your attention clearly to page 242 where you have all of the clauses. So adverb clause go verb to verb. Adjective clauses can go anywhere. They go off of the adjective or the word that they are modifying, telling you more about. And then noun clauses can do all of the things that nouns can do. And that is the end of exercise 6C.